So we've all heard the cliche of showing someone who's weak from a high angle and showing someone who's powerful from a low angle. Now, the examples I'm giving you right now, these photos, they really refer more to physical control. However, this type of framing doesn't just have to be for something physical. It can also work for something emotional as well. See, let me tell you what I mean. In the film American Beauty, Lester, the character played by Kevin Spacey, always seems to be shot in some way which makes him look weak or small in the frame, at least during the first half of the film. In any case of showing weakness and dominance in the frame, remember this. Whoever is smallest in the frame is the weakest individual, and whoever looks biggest in the frame is the one who's dominant, the one who's taking control. Now, during the second half of American Beauty, Lester starts to take control in his life, and metaphorically, you can see this by how he really isn't as small as before. In fact, right now, he's really the biggest person in the frame, and you can see him towering over everyone else. Now, right there, that's basically an example of how control can change throughout the course of a film. But right now, I'm gonna give you an example of how control can change over the course of one scene. In the film Strangers on a Train, there is a famous conversation scene between these two characters. Now, during the beginning of the conversation, this character seems to be the one who's dominant. He's the one who's taking control, as you can see in his tight close-ups. However, as the conversation continues, this other character begins to take control. And you can see this by how his shots become more tighter and how the other character begins to look smaller in the frame. During the end of the scene, this character ends up being the dominant one, the one who takes control over the conversation. Now, I'm going to give you one last example of presenting weakness and dominance. This time, I'm going to show you how control can change over the course of one shot. And I'm going to use an example from the film Citizen Kane. In this famous scene, we see Orson Welles dwarfed into the background while the characters in the foreground take control over the conversation. However, as the scene continues, Orson Welles walks forward towards the foreground and he towers over these characters in front of him. Metaphorically, he's taking dominance over the conversation. In conclusion, there are really many ways to show weakness and dominance in the frame. These are basically a few out of many examples of how to do it. So if you liked that video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more.